The 2023 season is upon us. Welcome to ASU Football Insiders. I'm your host, Rob Penn, along with Juan Roche, J.R. Redmond, and Jalen Strong. New regime, new culture, new quarterback. Juan, what are your expectations for this season coming?
Well, as far as expectations, I think it's one of what's called cautious optimism. Obviously, there's a new energy, new coach. There's a whole new approach to how they're going to do things. They went younger and bolder by hiring Kenny Dillingham. He, of course, has brought in different assistants from different parts of the country from his experience and so forth. So I think that as far as expectations, it's just, after 3-9, obviously you want to build on that, get better. I know there's been a lot of overhaul of the roster with some transfers coming in. Jaden Rashada now starting at quarterback, where last year, we had a transfer, Emory Roberts, at the start of the season. So a lot of things are different, but I think at the same time, people need to curb their expectations. We're not going to come out firing on all cylinders right out of the gate. There may be a learning curve here. But I think if we're patient and we just allow this team to develop, we have a shot at six win season, maybe a bowl game. But that's just, I think at this point that would be success. But realistically, this team could easily go 5-7, or it can even go 7-5. It's just one of those situations where, with Deion Sanders in the conference now and in the final year of Pac-12 play, a lot of things can happen, right? It's the last year this conference is ever going to exist as we know it. And it's just going to be a matter of, things go the right way, the ball bounces the right way, you get that interception at the right moment. Who knows what can happen? But I just think we just need to be cautiously optimistic, and we want to see just improvement on the field and the product quality improving on the field.
Coach Kenny Dillingham has given a nod to true freshman Jaden Rashada. There have been 5 true freshmen named QB1 in the history of Arizona State, with only one garnering a Pac-12 title. What should we expect from our young quarterback?
You can expect him to make plays. You can expect him to make mistakes. You're going to see a lot of things that are going to be very natural to him because he has some real natural athleticism, and he's appears to be a true quarterback, not an athlete playing quarterback. So you're going to see a little bit of everything. You're going to see some great plays. You're going to see some mistakes. You're going to see some learning curves. But ultimately, he should have a successful year.
I think when you give the reins to a true freshman, you are putting faith that he understands what's expected of him. Even Jake Plummer didn't start as a true freshman right at the beginning of the season. Grady Benton started for the first, I believe, 4 or 5 games, and then they handed the reins to Jake Plummer. So it's very difficult for a freshman to come in and start right away, which says that obviously this young man is immensely talented. I'm not going to question Coach Dillingham's ability to assess quarterbacks, given his track record for coaching darn good quarterbacks. So he sees something in this young man that lets him believe that he can take the reins and he's going to be able to mature and grow in the position. And I believe that, like JR said, he is a true quarterback. I've watched him in Arizona. We were talking about him. He can hit the receiver really good. And like every other quarterback, he has to learn to deliver it in traffic. But that's not just Jaden Rashada. That's anybody who throws the rock. So I think that Southern Utah will show us a lot. I expect, again, a typical game 1 fashion. It'll probably be a very vanilla package. We're not going to see a lot of, the bells and whistles of this offense, but I think we'll see enough of Jaden to get confident and comfortable that we got the right kid under center.
Back to you, Juan. Now, last season, the first 4 games, they pretty much set the table for the remainder of the season. This year, Southern Utah, Oklahoma State, Fresno State, and we open this Pac-12 schedule against the Trojans of USC. How significant is being on the plus side of 500 the first quarter of the season?
Yeah, don't forget Colorado at the end of that, the first 5 games too. So, I think if not to undo the 4 games, but I think the first 5 games are going to be critical here, because if they can find a way to come out of that 5-game gauntlet, right, with all the USC with Caleb Williams, Colorado with Deion, Oklahoma State coming here into our stadium, that's a future Big 12 yearly opponent. So there's a lot there. And Fresno State, a team that took us to task in Herm Edwards' first year in the bowl game, the Las Vegas Bowl, if you remember. They kind of kicked our butts in that game. So you take all these different things, and Southern Utah should be a game they win again. Let's. But after Eastern Michigan last year, nothing's given. Nothing's going to be handed to us. But if they can get out of that 5-game gauntlet 3-2, or heaven forbid, dare me say it, 4-1, we're going to have one hell of a ride this season. Now, will that happen? It's going to all depend on, does the offensive line gel? Can they get a running game going? Can they give Jaden the time to find these receivers? And can the defense come together and make that critical stop? I think it's going to be on the defense to be able to put the offense in positions, to score points, to get opponents in bad situations, and let Jaden kind of not play under pressure and not make them win the games for you. If we can get into those situations and, again, come out 3-2, I mean, even 2-3 wouldn't be horrible because, again, on the back end with 8 home games, you can probably find 6 wins in that schedule. But again, 3-2, 4-1, we're cooking with gas, guys. We're going to be flying. But again, it comes down to what they do on Saturday nights. And as we saw last year, it can unravel quickly, and then they turn on, they beat a team like Washington, but then they lose to a team like Eastern Michigan. So this is a whole new year, whole new attitude. But again, it just comes down to what they do between the lines on Saturday night.
Today's guest, these two guys are very significant when it comes to this team here, and also pairing them with, former Sun Devil Hall of Famers and legends here, former running back and former another left tackle here. We have Cameron Skattebo and Isaiah Glass. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
What's
Thanks
up,
for having
fellas?
Welcome, fellas.
Gotcha. Now, hey, let's kick it off with Scat. Hey, Skattebo, transferring in from Sacramento State. What went into the decision of going into Arizona State, and how has the transition been so far?
Going into Arizona, I mean, I hopped in the transfer portal, as you guys know, real early, right after I got done with my season. My coach decided to take the head job at Stanford over at Sacramento State. So I knew as soon as he left that I probably wasn't going to play there anymore. He was a big part in the reason I went there. So also my running back coach left too. So that was a big deal. And then I think the biggest thing was the initial talk and conversation I had with Coach Iguano. He hit my phone up instantly. He wanted me to fly out. He flew out the next day. They were really on me about getting me out there, getting me out here and wanting to see me in person and wanting me to see the facility and everything for myself. So, and I know with them building a new culture and a new team, I knew it was a good chance to hop in and, help build that culture. But so far, man, it's been going good. I mean, I enjoy every moment of it. My new teammates, Isaiah Glass, new teammate to me. And I feel like I've known him for years. So I think the biggest thing is the culture we've built there has built a strong connection with all the guys, and it's been going real good.
Now this is for the big fella, the anchor on the left side. What's the difference between blocking for quarterbacks with two different styles?
I would say, there's a lot of different factors that go into that. Whether the quarterback likes to run a lot, whether he likes to sit in the pocket, whether he gets the ball out quick or, he takes a little longer with his reads. There's a lot of different factors that can go into that. Like I said, I feel like, I guess with the guys we have now, obviously you said we got Jaden starting week 1. And Jaden's a guy that if you give him the time, he'll make that throw. And Jaden can make a lot of those deep ball throws that we just gotta give him the time to do. And Jaden can also run. So I think at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same thing, but some stuff you gotta be more aware about than the others. But it just varies. Like I said, with Jaden, I think it's just giving him the time. Obviously, he's a freshman. So just getting the time and just taking the pressure off him of have him not worry about the D-line trying to get him, and so you really just go through all of his reads and just find the best throw. I think, like I said, going back to Jaden, just getting him time. That's the biggest thing.
So I got a question for both these young men. So obviously in the new era where we have the transfer portal and a lot of new faces have come into the program, mixing with the guys that have been here. What's it been like to kind of take us back from spring ball all the way to Tonazona to now? Obviously, in a different world in college football, how have you guys been able to come together? What is the common bond that brings you guys now under Coach Dillingham? Just some things that you guys talk about, or some things that are bringing you together in that fire. Is it building on a 3-9 season, or is it a freshman quarterback or a new coach? Kind of take us inside the locker room, if you will. Just kind of give us a little bit of insight how do you become a Sun Devil football team in today's day and age and getting ready for the first game at Southern Utah?
I think the biggest thing is everybody knows it's a fresh start. The guys that were there last year that went 3-9, I think everyone's wiped their slate pretty clean. They understand we got 40 new dudes on the team, plus another 20 freshmen. So I think everybody's kind of put the past in the past and wiped the slate and have accepted that Dillingham's the head coach now. There's a new role for everybody. Everybody's doing their own thing. People switch from offense to defense, defense to offense, switch from running back to receiver, receiver to running back. People's done that. So I think everybody realizes that it's a new clean slate and anything could be accomplished with what we have on our team because we got a really solid team. So I think just keeping our heads on straight and not even worrying about last year could be a real big thing for us, and making sure everybody comes together smoothly like we have been since the spring. I feel like just the first couple of weeks, everybody feel like they knew each other already, and it's something I kind of never been a part of initially, but it was a nice feeling welcomed as soon as you get there.
Yeah, so obviously I was a part of this team last year, past 2 years. And I would say with Dilly coming in, like I said, started January, it's probably been like the hardest, just like physically and mentally, like off season I've had from January all the way up to a week before a game. Like I said, at ASU. And I feel like it being that hard, just physically and mentally, has just bonded us way faster than in my past 2 years, especially with all the new guys we have. But I think, like I said, I think for it being so hard, like I said, this is the most physical practice I've ever been a part of in college. The most taxing, the longest. Like I said, this is the hardest I've ever worked in college. But I feel like with, like I said, all the guys we have, we're all grinding together, we're all working hard together, we're all suffering together, and we're all just bonding that much closer and that much quicker. Where, like I said, like just today's day and age with the portal, we don't have that luxury of just each year with the same guys stacking up and being with the guys and just growing through that. So now we gotta fast forward that sinking, that building part up, and I feel like we did that, like I said, through how hard it was. I mean, I feel like we've been grinding a lot as a team. Like I said, I definitely can tell a difference, and yeah, I feel like there's just a tighter unit just based off how hard stuff has been.
I love you guys are using the word grinding. I love that because that just shows that blue collar, old school. I think Dilly's a young coach, but he's an old school soul as far as football and approach. So thanks, guys.
I got a couple questions. My first question is for the running back. We got 3 downs to get in the end zone. We're on the 5-yard line. And the coach has already made a decision. We're running the ball 3 downs in a row. What's the first carry?
Right down the middle. I mean, I'm a
ISO blast. What do you mean right down the middle?
You could give me anything. I'm gonna get 5 yards on 3 plays. I mean, I average around 7 to 8 yards a carry. I don't hold anything minimum of that. So I expect myself to get in on the first carry. If it takes me 3, the defense is good. But
I heard that.
I know the guys in front of me are going to do their job.
So you saying straight down the middle 3 times? You saying ISO, blast, ISO?
Give me outside zone, inside zone. I'm gonna
outside zone, inside zone.
I'm gonna go straight through. I'm gonna go straight through the line either way. If I got to go through my own guy to get 5 yards, I might have to.
I heard that.
Glad.
Okay. I got a question for big man now, O-lineman. My question is this. What is your best skill set in regards to your performance? Do you believe you're more of a pass blocking, or do you think you're a better run blocker, or do you feel like you're well balanced?
I would say more balanced because, I feel like if I would say more pass blocking, then my run would be lacking more into my pass pro. But I feel like both are pretty balanced. If I had to pick one, I guess I'd say pass blocking. But I would say for me, both are kind of pretty balanced.
And then my last question for the running back is outside of obviously your yards after contact, right? Your physicality. What is your best asset as a running back? What are your tools that you rely on?
I I think the biggest thing for me is I can use my hands well. I catch the ball really well, and my stiff arm is pretty top notch. People don't really see it.
Got that Derrick Henry, huh?
People like to think I just run through them, but if I got to use my stiff arm too, you're probably not going to tackle me. So I think that's the biggest thing. I don't like talking about myself, but that's another thing like people don't really see is that stiff arm is kind of quiet, but it's there.
Well, it's all right. We're talking about we talking about your skill set. We're not necessarily just talking about yourself. We're talking about what you do, what you get done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and just know, fellas, that yards after contact, remember, Jared, we called them devil yards, and we had to get 100 per game.
Yep.
So that was the standard, right, JR? So
yes,
100
sir.
devil yards, stiff arm, run them over. Yeah. Mr. Glass, run through them. You know, get whatever play, whatever. We needed 100 devil yards every game.
Yeah. Hey, with that being said, after that first 100-yard game, we're gonna need y'all back on.
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
No doubt. Hey, fellas. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Hey, you know, hats off to a great season coming forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, fellas. Kick some butt this season.
Y'all be blessed.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Too,
1 week. 1 week. That's all we got.
Later.
Take care.
Go Devils.
Yep.